Hi everybody and welcome to your Sustainable Living Tuesday 6 p.m. with me, Payal Sen. And I hope you all are keeping really well and safe now, and you're not getting lax in the precautions that you're taking as the festive season is almost upon us. This is the time when people tend to get a little lax, and this is the time when we need to be even more careful than before, because people are stepping out, people are meeting people. So please wear your mask, sanitize your hands, wash your hands, keep a distance, and don't meet too many people at any given time, because it's just not safe. Yes, everything is open, but that is for the economy. It is not because we are 100% safe. So getting into sustainable living, which is what we're here for. Today we have a Gen Next designer, Nikita Tandon, with us, who has done a lot of great work in the field. She is a second generation designer. Her mother has been around for decades now. And Nikita specializes in evening gowns, party dresses, cocktail dresses. So we're going to talk to her about how the Gen Next is going sustainable.
Hi,
Hi Nikita, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good to see you. And I was just introducing you as our, Gen Next designer, and the future of the fashion industry in our country is all about the Gen Next, and how we
Yes,
are all looking to merge wellness with the fashion industry. We're trying to reduce the amount of waste that comes out of the fashion industry, because I'm saying it again, this is many as the sixth episode into the season 2 of the sustainable living topic, where we say the fashion industry is the number one industry which eliminates waste, and we need to now change that. You
yes.
as the designer, me as the consumer, we need to work towards to change. So Nikita, tell us a little bit more about your brand, and you are now the second generation of designers in your family. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my label is called Nikita Mina Designs, which of course clearly comes from the Mina company. And yes, I'm second label to more popular label Mina Renu Tandon. Yes, so but I specialize definitely in red carpet. So what
I
I
know I've
do.
worn some of your clothes and felt so fabulous and glamorous in them.
Thank you, thank you. Well, coming from a style diva like you means a lot. So
Thank you.
yeah, so my label is I do a lot of Western wear. So I specialize in totally Western wear, but definitely I would say I'm known more for my red carpet USP.
Yeah. Nikita, now, we're just going to dive right into the topics, because there's a lot that we have to discuss on the sustainable living, and you guys being the Gen Next of future. So we
Yes.
want to ask you actually a couple of things. Let's start with color psychology, right?
Okay.
There will be
Yeah.
times when, your clients come into your store, maybe just to browse, or maybe because they've actually got an appointment. They may come in with a certain mood. They may not, they may be down, they may be having a bad day, and they walk into your store, or they may come with a preconceived notion about this is what I want, I've seen it on your Instagram and I want to
Yeah.
replicate this. But they
Yeah.
walk into your store, something happens, colors switch in their head, it changes their mood. How does color psychology work? Have you seen it firsthand?
Okay. So a lot of people think that see, colors definitely change your mood. They change your psychology to a lot of extent. There are some personalities which are very stubborn and stuck with their color palette in their life, in their wardrobe. And there are some people who are extremely ready to listen to the designer, to take the advice, or to add in some more colors in their life.
Yeah.
So that does become a challenge for a designer, because at times you see there could be people who love colors, and then maybe we want to give them a little subdued and powerful look by adding grays and blacks to their life. And there are some people who are so balanced with white, gray, and black that you want to give them the other way around, like
Yeah.
some pop-up colors.
Yeah.
While color definitely makes a lot of difference, not just in clothing. I'm sure any girl will understand a simple formula. Once we enter any makeup area, like an airport section of makeup, we feel happy. It just gives us happiness.
Yeah.
Similarly, so the first thing about visual merchandise in fashion industry, in retail industry, is that the color therapy excites a woman to enter in. If your visual merchandise is nothing that great, your name cannot pull you in for a long time.
Yeah.
So the merchandise first funda is your color psychology.
But Nikita, tell us about like when someone's walked in and they were, they were very low, and how did what you show them? How did that color just sort of wake them up, got into the mood to buy something?
So that normally
Make
what
them happy.
happens. Yeah. So by a lot of girls come with a lot of inhibitions and insecurities.
Of course, yeah.
Specifically, we all are into such high-end quality luxury brand that we have anyway small and medium in our stores. That's not the general size of an Indian woman. So when you want to make them feel happy, you want to make them feel confident, I try and pull out an outfit which I feel will just brighten the skin color. So normally, yes, a designer has to be good in judging the personality, the skin features, the body type, and suggest accordingly. So, for example, if a woman who's looking like not too happy and she's come just to do her, let's just say that inquiry about what's in, what's not, my general pickup and my general way of talking to them is sit down, have a cup of coffee, tell me, explain me about your personality. And then I start picking up those colors that I feel will just suddenly make that person happy. Pink, for that matter, is the most...
the person a little more.
Sorry?
You try to get to know the person a little more to see.
Yeah, I always give it my good 10-15 minutes to know the psychology of the person by studying the personality. Pink, of course, goes without saying, being such a strong feminine color, not just makes a woman happy, but also a man.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You see, in most of the big corporate meetings, most of the men wear pink tie or a pink pocket scarf or something like that.
My
pink shirt.
Pink ties too.
So, pink being the most feminine color, if a man wears it, the science says that it exudes their self-confidence in their own skin.
Oh, wow.
And to a woman, it's literally about feeling romantic and sexy.
So tell me, what are the most popular colors that a woman would go in for on a red carpet look? Is it black, navy, and red, or are there other colors too?
Nobody goes for black.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Specifically, this is a very wedding. In a very highly wedding-centric market, black is like a no-no in India. But I normally segregate my clients in two sections. One who are very classic and they love reds, pink, peaches, emerald green, royal blue. And then there is this generation next girls who love to experiment with colors such as, they wouldn't go for a normal sky blue. They would go for like a cobalt blue, or they would want to go for a pista green color, not a simple emerald green. Or lilacs. Like lilac is a color I personally love, and I feel every woman glows in it. But mostly Indian women feel it doesn't.
Tell me, so when you have color forecasts for the season, what are these? Are these forecasts based on what you think is going to determine the mood of the consumer, or what are the color forecasts based on?
Color forecast. Okay, so normally forecasting in fashion industry is done 4 years prior.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And a lot
goes.
Yes. So there are very big companies such as WGSN and all, which start this kind of forecasting. Mostly MNCs actually pay like a hectic amount, like a huge amount, to just get forecasting understood with their team for years, and then it starts coming out slowly through different brands. But yes, forecasting is definitely kept in mind the comfort level of a consumer now, rather than body type. It's more about what people are going to expect now, and which Payal, I think you would understand very clearly. Right now, everybody is asking for stuff which is matchable to your sleep wear, something which is more comfortable, you know, either lounge wear, athletic wear, whatever you want to call it, you know.
So tell me, Nikita, now that we touched on athleisure, this is another topic that we like to always, ask the Gen Next designers. Athleisure is a trend that's here to stay. It defines comfort and being
Absolutely.
unique at the same time.
Yeah.
Give us a take from you as a designer. What is the best way to nail this athleisure look, and what are the biggest do's and what are the biggest don'ts for this look?
So, athleisure earlier was a very personality statement. Now it's like a must-have in your wardrobe. So I definitely, yes, this is what I tell to all my clients also. You must start investing in casual athleisure in your wardrobe. Start adding it. But keeping in mind what is your style statement.
Right.
What happens most of the times, see, a big size woman may not be okay with a crop top.
Of course, yeah.
Right, but biggest brands such as Nike, Adidas, they come out with these super colorful crop tops to go with their, you know, pajamas and with their track trousers. It's okay. If you want to follow the trend, you must follow the trend. For me, following the trend means get it in your wardrobe. What you wear should suit your body type for sure. Because the entire funda of athleisure is you are at leisure, you are comfortable, you are not changing your style statement, you know.
Yeah. But tell me, what is the biggest don't in this look which just ruins the whole thing? You got.
Yes, definitely. I feel a lot of girls make this body type mistake that, you know, if they're too heavy on their chest or they have a stomach bulging out,
Yeah.
top or the gym wear that they're wearing, whether it should cover your hip or it should not. So jegging, unfortunately, a lot of girls make this mistake. They wear jeggings, and if they have a big ass, they just, you know, they just wear something really short and the waistline is bulging out.
So I guess what you're saying is that buy the fabrics that suit your body type. Don't buy fabrics that are going to cling to the
Buy the
bulges.
cuts that suit your fabric type, definitely, you know, because mostly everyone's pear-shaped here.
Yeah.
So
that's the typical Indian body type.
Yeah, typical Indian body. So they should try and stick to silhouettes which make them look taller rather than shorter.
Okay. And Nikita, what is your take and what is your definition and, how do you define sustainable living from not only what you put into your body, but what all you put on your body? How do you go about sustainable living in terms of fabrics, in terms of longevity of the garment?
For me, right now, sustainability has become a very big a factor in life, an issue.
It's the biggest topic globally, so it has.
Yeah, because being a designer, responsibility becomes a bit too much on us, you know. So 3 steps I would say to it, where one as a designer should be careful. One, the material that you're using. I think all designers should try as much as possible using organic materials. Whether it is your thread, it is your fabric, textiles, as economically friendly, ecological friendly as possible.
Eco-friendly, yeah.
So definitely vegan. I'm a strong believer of vegan stuff. I eat vegan and I'm not into fur or leather at all.
Okay, great.
So that is one. So the material that, yes, we have also kind of changed a lot of material definition in our product to whatever is possible. I cannot say 100%, but to whatever extent one can. Second factor of sustainability comes sustaining the right condition at your office for the workers.
Of course, amazing. That's amazing. That's a very good point.
Yeah. For me, that becomes so important because I think right now safety and paying the right wage is the most
100%. I
important
agree with you, and
sustainability
that's
factor.
fantastic if you're doing that in your factories. It's very
Yeah,
nice.
so this change had to come, and I think everyone's on it right now. Thirdly, I know it's as a woman I'm saying this, but yes, shop less. Impulsive shopping should go away.
Yeah.
What should walk in your life is you should be actually investing, which I mean we should be designing stuff, sampling to the extent which we feel we are able to give people classic quality that can sustain in their wardrobe for long. Similarly, on the other end, consumers should be also shopping not on impulsive base, but on basis of trend that and quality that they feel will be in their wardrobe, a classic vintage stuff that can be for longer. Most of the women don't understand how to reuse old styles, and while it's a challenge, if a woman learns it, it is amazing.
That is what we've been talking about right from the beginning of this season. It's about that whole concept. People who say that I don't repeat my clothes. That is not the thinking anymore. You must
Yes,
repeat your clothes.
you
You
must
must
repeat your
style it
clothes.
in at least 30 different ways and wear it
Yeah.
again and again and increase the longevity of your clothing and of your wardrobe. If you are going to be buying as a consumer organic fabrics, it is going to be a little bit more expensive, but it is value for money and they are going to last and last.
You
So
know,
wear it in different ways.
yes, I feel everyone's personality may not go for a cotton or a khadi or something like that. Um, but what everyone can do at their own end is actually do that thoughtful shopping that, literally pick up that they feel quality is correct. And
Yeah. And
yes,
as a designer, you can educate your customers by telling them what you're using, and that will also build your consumer loyalty because they will see the ethics behind your label.
yes, most of the consumers in India are not very
They don't care at the moment.
educated about the quality level of fabrics, of material. Some people
That's
understand by
also
the feel of it on their skin, some don't.
I also feel that's because at the moment, as much as we want to move away from it, it's what is still very much here is fast fashion,
It's
which
yes,
needs to really slow down a little bit because there's so much that comes in on a weekly basis and it doesn't sell on a weekly basis and then it is just dumped.
I think
And
fast fashion is pretty much dying now.
it is dying, but the consumer still, the youth is still going there because it's pocket friendly. They need to sort of move away from that and save up and buy one thing rather than buying five things.
Yes, that's true. That's very true. But I feel the change will take time, though it is trend wise. Even when I am designing, and I'm sure a lot of other designers as well, we are not really looking into what is the fast fashion showing for this month.
Yeah.
We are thinking more about the consumer thought process. What is it that the consumer needs right now? What would make them happy? What would make their pocket happy? What would make their wardrobe complete? So, our priorities have changed, literally.
Yeah. Okay, now, Nikita, I just want to ask you, what according to you, I'm just going to turn on the comment, what according to you are the different ways in
Yeah.
which we can turn something and what is considered waste, is considered surplus, it's considered gone, or it's not in fashion anymore. How do, or like maybe our parents' clothes or like, our grandparents' clothes, how do we convert them into something new and beautiful so that we as a consumer don't take that as waste anymore and actually see that as a raw material for something more beautiful?
Our best would be make masks out of it, as many as
Oh my
possible.
God, that's such a great idea. Actually, that is a great idea. Make masks out of it because I
We
wearing
all
a
need
mask
masks on daily
yes,
basis, and need to spread it as well, literally.
yeah, that's a great thing
So,
actually. Yeah, wear a mask.
yeah, so that's exactly what I did because when the lockdown started, and in a nearby village, there were a lot of people without it. And, if people were sending food supply, which literally Indians did a lot of charity by doing that, equally important was masks. So I think as many factories could convert their surplus waste into masks was the best thing, and I think anybody can do it at home. That's my
Yeah.
first thing. But apart from fashion, yes, the best thing, whatever they feel is not in fashion, is lying in their wardrobe. They should actually get it out and maybe spend an hour or two in, like kind of redesigning on your body and
Yeah.
seeing how can you, in your limited ways, in whatever ways possible at home, you can actually utilize it again. There is no point throwing away clothes till the time you're sending it to the needy. But yeah, definitely the waste that we have at home, I don't believe in using for interiors. I'll be very honest. I know a lot of people do it. They make cushions out of saris and stuff like that. I'm not a much strong believer of it. I feel if I have an old sari of my mom or of my nanny, I rather just add a border or just make a sexier blouse,
Yeah.
or even an off-shoulder top which I get from Zara. I can pair it up with my old sari
Yeah.
or something like that.
So we had a question which I actually answered when I opened this session today, but now we'll take your perspective on it. Somebody
Yeah.
has asked that is it important for everybody to adopt sustainable living? So I'll let you answer that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In some way or the other, sustainability is not only just existing in field of fashion. Sustainability means doing whatever best you can so that our nature is not exploited anymore.
Yeah.
So, but even if people turn vegan, I feel really happy. That's also,
Yeah.
you're also being sustainable in your diet, you know.
Absolutely. And we had
So,
another question which said, what is the future of sustainability?
well, I can't predict the future. I can suggest
Yeah.
that it is here to stay. I think COVID has made us learn that nothing is more important than learning the need of sustainability now in your life.
Yeah.
So definitely, whether it is not about cutting trees, which is so simple, or not wasting water, which is like the simplest thing that everybody keeps talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah, sustainability definitely means do whatever you can do best to reform your ecosystem and
No,
yeah,
very well said. Very well said, Nikita. Thank you so much. So, I mean, guys, what Nikita has said is very, very important. She said eco-friendly. I mean, sustainable living is not only about eco-friendly fashion. It is also
yes,
about what you put into your system. It's about being vegan. It's about choosing the right fabrics. It's about reinventing your old wardrobes. And one great tip is to make masks, which is the need of the hour. Use the fabrics in your house. You don't need to go out and buy more. You can just use yours in the house. Use the saris, use the tops, use whatever fabrics you have, which are breathable, a little bit
absolutely,
breathable.
yeah,
And she said another way to be sustainable and help the planet is your work situation in your factory, how you treat your workers, how you pay your workers. All of that goes towards the bigger picture. And I was just looking at a question. Can kitchen gardens have an impact on sustainability?
of course,
Absolutely. Kitchen
definitely,
gardens is where you grow your own. That's the first concept of farm
yeah.
to table. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Actually, one should start growing their own spices and whatever vegetables they can at home. Why
Yeah.
not?
And someone just asked what exactly is sustainability and sustainable fashion. Sustainability is anything that you can increase the lifespan of, and sustainable fashion is increasing the lifespan of your own wardrobe, seeing different ways to wear it, investing in quality products which are going to
Yes,
last you for a much longer time, investing in fabrics that are breathable, which is going to let your skin breathe, let the toxins out, and therefore keep
absolutely.
you healthier rather than blocking
Yes.
your pores and crowds. So that was what is it. We just have one last question time for that. What are some factors to look out for in sustainability? That's the last question which Nikita will ask.
Sustainability in terms of fashion, then important factors is please look into the quality of the product that you're buying. Extremely important. Please do not just buy for the sake of following a trend. buy if you really need it in your wardrobe and if it is suiting your body type, you know. Thirdly, no harm in doing a little R&D research on the company that you're buying from, because you want to fall in love with sustainable companies. That is the future. So be a little choosy, because you know, when you're buying a good quality product, I know you're paying a little extra, but then we want you to at least keep it in your wardrobe for next 10 years and make the use of that amount, the worth of that thing, rather than doing those sorry to say, but you know, this impulsive cheap buying of too many products, because that is just going to add more and more on your pocket.
Yeah, there's no point just adding clutter to your wardrobe and to your cupboards and stuff. I mean, things that you get excited, visually, they just fall apart sooner or later.
Yes, yes. So guys, are definitely material, fabric, hand material, or whatever. Even if it is sequin, kardana, they are all coming in variations. Please, a huge request that try sustaining away from leather and fur. I mean, it would be the best thing if we can, in our own level, not try and kill more animals.
Yeah,
Literally.
absolutely. Yeah. The way forward is that you have to show compassion for every living organism.
Yes, yes.
But thank you so much, Nikita. The time has flown and we've actually covered a lot, which has been really insightful. And it's
Yes.
been great to know what the Gen Next designers have planned out for the future. Because, like I said, you being the designer who's going to bring everything to the table, and us being the consumer who are getting educated on how to buy, it goes hand in hand. So it's been
Thank you,
great.
Payal. Amazing talking to you. Feel we
But no, thank you so much.
I think it's a great platform for us to talk to people about sustainability. So thank you for bringing in this topic.
Yes, no, and someone just said that I'm wearing leather. I'm not wearing leather. It's actually leather, which is completely vegan. So that's fine. Thank you, Nikita. Thank you so much, and see you soon. Bye.
Thank you, Payal. See you. Bye. Bye.